Welcome back to the Interact podcast. My name is Josh Hanum, co-founder and CEO at Interact. This is part of our Learn series here, and I'm going to be sharing things that we learn in our business that I think are super helpful in any business in terms of growing your revenue. What we're going to talk about today is how to rank number one on ChatGPT. Interact ranks number one on ChatGPT against competitors who have hundreds of millions of dollars of funding. Basically, if you could spend money to beat us out, then you would, but it's not happening. We are ranking number one. We're getting around 2,000 visits a month to our website from ChatGPT. And if you used it recently, you know that they don't exactly push links on there. So the number of times that we're probably being mentioned, I don't know, 5-6 times that. So probably around 10,000 mentions a month by ChatGPT to people who are chatting about it, chatting about things that we can help with. And I know for a fact, based on talking to customers, that it's also helping people get it set up on our platform. So how is that happening? What are the principles by which ChatGPT chooses who to recommend and when and why and how? Let's get into it. The number one thing is mentions of your brand across the internet. Interact is mentioned more than any other quiz software on the internet. That is why we rank number one. Full stop, hands down, nothing else matters. Everywhere that there is a list of top quiz builders or the best way to generate leads with quizzes or product recommendation quizzes, Interact is on that list. Now, importantly, you don't need to be number one on every single list. You don't need to go and try to coerce people and, well, yeah, I don't know, whatever, pay to be top on the list, which we don't do. But what you can do is just make sure that you are showing up. So if you're not on a list, reach out to the creator of the list, offer to have a conversation, no strings attached, no expectations, and just be like, hey, I wanted to show you our product, or maybe let them check it out from you and see what they think. And if they like it, they'll add you to the list. And ChatGPT kind of takes a conglomeration of all the lists. So let's say you rank number 2 on one list and 5 on another one and 7 and 2 and 1 and 6 and 4. As long as you are there every time, it's going to take the weighted average. So even if you're not number one on every single list, if you are towards the top or you're at least on the list, every time somebody's talking about the best solutions for X or Y or Z or whatever, then you will show up number one in ChatGPT. That's the main thing that ends up happening. Now, also importantly, when people are just mentioning things in their blogs, in their Instagrams, in their YouTubes, let's say they're talking about tools to grow and scale your business. If you're showing up there, it doesn't need to be in comparison to other tools that do exactly what you do, then that counts as a mention as well. So really, honestly, it's just counting up how many times does somebody say, hey, Interact is a good product for making quizzes. Hey, X is a good product for doing Y. Then that's how you are going to rank. That's the biggest thing. So that's ranking. But then there is the follow on. So you've noticed how ChatGPT, when you ask it something, it doesn't just say, here's the solution. It says, here's the solution. Would you like me to help you with that? Now, that piece, what you're going to need is a library of content on how to use your product and how to use your service and case studies and stories so that chat can ingest all of that. And when somebody asks, hey, what's the best solution or what's the best product for this, it can then follow on and say, well, here's how to actually do it. And it can be accurate, because what people are using chat for is not just getting answers. It's not just an answer engine. It's an implementation engine. It's how do you actually do something engine. And so all of the content, and this is typically going to be written content or YouTube library content on your product, exactly how to use it to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, all the use cases. We have probably 200 use cases outlined very specifically in our blog content, in our help docs, on our YouTube about how to use quizzes for different things. So whether it's an assessment, a personality type, an onboarding quiz, a diagnostic, a product recommendation quiz, a qualifier, an engagement quiz in person, online, when you're on a podcast, whatever it is, we have all these use cases They're outlined very specifically with examples, with case studies, with customer stories. So then when chat is referencing for this person who's like, oh, how do I use a quiz in a nutrition business to engage my Instagram followers? It's like, well, here's how these 4 people did it using Interact. And it knows that because we gave it that. So we have a library of use cases and content and outlining how to use our product. So then when chat says, hey, do you want me to help you with that? It actually knows what to do. And that's the thing that I think people are really missing with ChatGPT. Everyone's obsessed with how do I get mentioned? But what actually matters is how do you use whatever it is that's being mentioned. Now, it's a little different with like an e-commerce product, and there are integrations there where you can connect it up and you can actually check out inside the chat experience. That's slightly different because that is the sale. But still, importantly, even with an e-commerce brand, let's say you're selling boots and you need to explain why these boots are good. If somebody's saying, oh, I need boots for this very particular reason, I work on this type of farm and I use this type of tractor. If you have an article that says, here's how to use our boots on this type of farm for this type of tractor, then chat's going to ingest that. And when somebody asks, it's going to match that. It's just pattern matching. And this is the part that like is vital because sure, you could get recommended, but then if it says, how do I do this? And then it starts referencing somebody else's content, you're going to lose that person. You got to follow them from the recommendation through the actual implementation. It can't just be, oh, this is the most mentioned product, but I have no idea how to use it. So it's got to be both of those pieces. And that's what I think most people are overlooking when it comes to ChatGPT. The getting mentioned part is 10% of the battle. 90% of the battle is how do you actually have chat have the context of helping that person in their particular scenario with all their caveats and their needs actually figure out how that matches up to what you can offer with your product, with your business. And so that's the second piece of it. And that's honestly all it is. Formatting wise, you got to be straightforward. You got to be simple. Cut down the fluff. Chat gets lazy just like the rest of us. So don't make your content too long. Make it really, really simple and easy to read. But that's a semantic thing. And honestly, chat can help you with that. But those first 2 pieces getting mentioned, that's all about relationship building. Helping people use your product, that's all about use cases. So in both of those cases, right, it's all about conversations that you're having. With mentions, it's conversations in your industry so that you can build up your network and get mentioned more often. With the use cases, it's talking to your customers, figuring out how they're actually using your product and infusing that back into your content so that chat has that context. So that is it. I am purposely making this an episode that's very short because it's not a complicated thing, but what it is having a strong network and making sure that chat knows you have that strong network on the mention side, and then having a strong set of use cases in terms of how people use your product, which means that again, it's networking, and then making sure that ChatGPT knows all the use cases of your product. And this is how all the LLMs are going to work. They're going to work based on a popularity contest at the top of the funnel. So who's most popular within a certain industry, who's mentioned the most. And then it's going to be based on an actual success metrics use case on the bottom of the funnel, where it's like, who can actually prove that their product or their service or their solution is helping their customers be successful. And the way you prove that is by outlining all these specific use cases that you can use your product, use your service, use your solution for. And that's the second piece that everybody overlooks. So it's really just those 2 things. And then formatting, just ask ChatGPT how to format it properly, not complicated. And that is how you show up in ChatGPT, even when you have competitors who have all the money in the world. If you could buy your way in, they would. And I think this is an awesome opportunity for any sort of business owner, especially if you're getting started now in 2025, going into 2026. This is how you rank first in ChatGPT.